I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, September the 18th, and this market is higher, higher, higher. And you know, especially on the fat cattle deal, we've established our lows here a 3 weeks ago, and it looks to be going straight up, maybe sideways and up at times, but it's going to be improved probably from now throughout the end of the year. You know, it seems evident that we will get deep into the 120s on this fat cattle market sometime this fall, and leave those 1-aught numbers in the past. And we've went past 110, which was kind of a threshold, just a spot that was hard to get over for this market. Now we've knocked that wall down, and appears to be on the uphill side for the near future anyway. Your feeder cattle the same way. There's just been a lot of bullishness, and for some reason there's just been a lot of resistance to all that bullish fundamental stuff. But now we've gotten to the point where there's just too much of it to go. You know, it's just like in politics, you know, they say it's the economy stupid, and in your ag markets it's supply and demand stupid. And it's just supply and demand. We've just about run out of yearlings. A lot of guys still want to feed those, and where they can find them, they're really going to go after them. We've got calves coming. We're going to have a lot of forage for them this fall, and hopefully into the winter, depending on whether we get any moisture or not this fall in the southern plains. But there's ample feedstuffs to feed them. Grains are cheap. We're going to have another bumper crop of corn and beans, and it's just too much for this artificial resistance to push back on anymore. And we've got bullish fundamentals, and they have finally taken a hold and got a grip. Let's look at the board for Monday. October live cattle futures down just 37 cents after being up the limit on Friday. So down 37 is not too bad, but end the day at 113.42. December was actually up a nickel at 118.10. Feeder cattle, your October was up 30 cents at 159.17, and your little plate September down a dime at 157.32. Okay, now we were wondering at our last visit how much trade had occurred on Friday. And you know, I got a lot of contacts, multiple fat cattle buyers, commodity brokers, big time hedgers, people that are active in the market at almost every level. Nobody really knew how much trade there was. Everybody knew there was $1.11 bids late Friday afternoon. Everybody supposedly was still shrugging them off, but it was kind of hard to believe that there wasn't going to be some takers on that 111. $3 better than the previous week. And I think what really kicked it off is whenever they finally went to 111.50 on some cattle in the northern plains. They started falling like dominoes at that point, and then you had some pretty significant trade. But in the 5-area feeding region, 101,300 head. Another healthy movement. We'd like to see a little more than that, maybe 110 to 120. That really keeps things cleaned up pretty good. But you know, we had only sold 8,000 something at the end of Thursday, so that's still pretty significant trade. And I think we'll have a little more cleanup trade early this week, which we've already seen some of that on Monday morning there in Nebraska. But on Friday afternoon, after piddling around there 107, 108 and places and things like that, and they kept kind of tipping their hand a little bit like they may go up, and then your packers on Friday just started upping their bid, just dollar, trying to get some cattle put together because they were short bought. They need the cattle. And by Friday afternoon, our market became established from 111 to 111.50. That's straight up $3 higher in the southern plains, $3.50 to $4 higher in the northern plains. Your dress sales were mostly 175 on Friday afternoon. That's fully $5 higher. Just a pretty smoky market there. And it was, even in your weighted averages, there was not enough subpar trade there to pull it down much. And in your 5-area feeding region, your weighted average on live steers come out to be 110.66, $2.99 higher than the previous week's weighted average, so pretty much the full $3. Your dressed steer weighted average had some early in the week sales that pulled it down a little bit. This weighted average is for the whole week, but 174.05, still up $3.80 from the previous week's weighted average. You look on a nationwide scale, 122,300 head, so more trade on the fringes around the outside of the 5-area feeding region and back east and way out west there. 122,300 head of negotiated sales. That compares with 305,000 formulas last week, but still that's a bigger percentage. That's about 25%. That's more than we normally sell. So it was a good week for negotiated cash. We just need more negotiated cash. And you guys that are independent sellers, you're not tied in with a packer. You're not in some kind of a program cattle deal that you have to go with them on at a certain time, certain date, and you're free to sell those cattle when you want to. Find you a marketing agent like Consolidated Beef Producers, Omaha Producers, somebody like that to help you get some leverage and sell those cattle negotiated cash. That's the only way we can get any leverage on this market, and you saw it work this last week. But 122,300 head negotiated nationwide. Only 13% of those were sold for 15 to 30 days out, and the packers are really wanting to buy some cattle out front to try to stave off this bull market that they've gotten themselves caught up in. It's going to be hard for them to cool it off, guys. Let's look at your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on Beef Market Central there. Late in the day on Monday, sitting at 153.38, up 66 cents from the end of last week's trades. Now, we've been using this as a tool, this real-time index that we're putting in together. It's automated. It's coming right from the block and over 120, 30, 40 sales. We get another one, seems like every day, all across the nation, but we only pull those from the middle 12 states, just like the CME feeder cattle index is, but we're using that as a tool to try to indicate what your CME cash feeder cattle index is. And like I said, late Monday, 153.38. The latest CME feeder cattle cash index, 153.38. It's amazing. We're in some sales that the index is not into. The index comes right from your federal state market reporters. So if you don't have a federal state market reporter, you're not getting in the index. If you're tapped into Cattle Market Central and we're picking up your automated information, you are in there. So we're in a lot of the same sales, but we're in some sales that the federal state market reporters are not in, and vice versa. But it's amazing. It's all a commodity, guys. It's all cattle. We'll talk about some more sales that aren't reported anywhere on a federal or state market report, but they're good sales, got good quotes in there, and we're getting them here with DV Auction on Cattle Market Central. But you look at your markets on Monday, Oklahoma City, 8,000 head. Your cash feeders in Oklahoma City, $1 to $6 higher than last Monday. Good sale there. Calves, $2 to $5 higher. Everybody, the word's out. Everybody knows this market's going up. It's all bullish. Joplin Regional Stockyards, 4,900 head there. Feeders, $3 to $5 higher there. Calves steady to $4 higher. Look at a couple individual quotes. Like I said, you won't see these on a federal state market report. They can't send a guy everywhere. It costs too much money to the taxpayers, and they can't afford the gas and the state cars and all that goes with it to cover some of these sales. But good sales. How about this one right here we picked up on Cattle Market Central? Elgin livestock sales, Elgin, Nebraska. Ted Baum, owner, his family there, wanting to get the word out on what kind of a market they got there. Got an excellent market, as good as any of those Nebraska sales. Look at here on Monday, 103 head of 925-pound steers bring 152 1/4 there in Elgin. Another sale, One I call the little sale barn with the big market. Sylvan Sales Commission in Sylvan Grove, Kansas. Toby Myers Market there. They can sell them up there too, guys. 63 head of steers, weigh 712 pounds, $163.50. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.